Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing well and kindly confirm me if I'm audible and the video is also clear. Let me check that myself also. So the audio and the video is perfectly fine. So we can move ahead. We are going to cover the current affairs for the fourth week of the month of April. Between 24th to 30th of April, there were a lot of significant things that we are supposed to discuss, and we'll be following that here. Okay? If you have any doubts pertaining to things that we are discussing, you may put that in the chat box. The comment section is there for you. You can ask anything. And towards the end, we have certain practice questions also based upon the topics that we are going to discuss here. So if you are willing to participate in that, you are more than welcome. Okay? Chaliye. So the very first news that we had, before moving ahead, if you have not already downloaded the Oliveboard app and if you have not already registered, try to make it sure that by the end of the lecture, you do so. Why? Because a lot of PDF material, a lot of other things you get here for free of cost. All right. So these are the free content that is available for you along with a lot of monthly current affairs also. Apart from that, those of you who are seriously preparing for banking examination and they want a one-stop solution, a kit for all the purpose. So this particular banking selection kit with most of the features that you will ever require during your preparation is mentioned here. Now the first news from the fourth week of April, this is regarding the visit of South Korean President Mr. Lee Jae-young to India. This was a special and important event. Why? This occurred after a period of 8 years that a South Korean president visited India. In a nutshell, I'll be telling you what was the gist of this particular visit. See, currently, as of April 2026, as of April 2006, we have a bilateral trade relation with South Korea amounting to roughly around 25 to 28 billion dollar. 25 to 28 billion dollar. Okay, reports vary. It is the approximate size. Now, bilateral trade, that means we are selling goods to each other, we are buying goods from each other, we are sending to and fro, import export that we are doing here of the commodities, of the merchandise, the physical goods and the services, etc. Now, if we break it down, what India is importing and what India is exporting, there is significant gap. Just like most of the bigger economies, we do have that significant gap. In technical term, I hope you all do understand, it is called as trade deficit. All right, trade deficit. When our import is much voluminous as compared to what we are exporting, we are purchasing much more than what we are selling to the other countries with whom we are in a type of trade relationship. So we are importing as much as $18.5 billion of goods from South Korea, and we are sending them, exporting from India, goods, services, etc., valuing to around $6.5 billion. All right, so there is a significant, you will see a $12 billion gap is there, but this news is not about the gap. This news is about the bilateral trade value. So the bilateral trade value, if you add these two numbers, it will be equivalent to this particular number. Now the purpose of this particular visit, as the outcome of this particular visit, we are going to try to make this 25 to 28 billion dollar 2x in a time period of 4 years. That is, the target is that by 2030 we are going to make this bilateral trade between South Korea and India valued at around $50 billion. Okay, I hope I am clear. So this is precisely the gist of this particular news. Apart from that, traditionally when India was dealing with South Korea, it was a normal economic relationship. Things were being sent from here and there. Now we are going to focus upon new areas as well. One of the key areas that is part of this particular meet that has happened in April 26 is shipbuilding. We are going to focus more and more upon converting India into a global shipbuilding leader. Okay, we want to lead in this particular industry. We have an ambitious target for 2030. Within 10 years, that is by maximum of 2035-36, we want to see ourselves as top 10 nation as far as the shipbuilding is concerned. Because maritime trade between most of the country, it is increasing. Purchasing power of countries, people, etc. This is also significantly increasing. We want to buy more. If there is a buying and selling which is going on, it has to be through the sea route. So for that, you have to focus upon these particular areas as well. Now, why South Korea? Countries like South Korea and China, specifically South Korea, it is a giant and has a global expertise as far as the shipbuilding is concerned. They have years of experience and their technology is far more superior. Okay? There are a lot of companies which are there which has a good amount of expertise. And what we do have, we have a lot of land, we have a lot of labor, we have a lot of time also for that matter, and we also have a lot of vacant coastal area, okay, to build these shipyards, the ship manufacturing places. So shipbuilding is the core focus. Apart from shipbuilding, we are also going to focus upon semiconductor manufacturing, AI, artificial intelligence, and also co-production as far as the defense equipment is concerned. So Indian startups and the South Korean startups, they are going to work together. You can think of them working in a same laboratory and producing the defense equipment. So this is what they are going to focus. In these sectors, we are going to focus. So this I have mentioned, this is once long time period, after a long time period, after a time period of 8 years that the leaders were meeting. All right, South Korean president came here, not meeting, the president came here. This was a significant move. Apart from that, this is also part of India's broader Act East strategy. After the independence, we have focused a lot upon the Western countries, I mean the West Asian countries, UAE, Qatar, Iran, all these things, Saudi. We have had a good relationship. Specifically with Iran, we had a great partnership for years. Now, in the recent decades, we have started focusing more upon the Eastern countries, or equally upon the Eastern countries as well. So it is also part of the broader part of the India's Act East policy. Moving ahead, the leaders in the exchanges and the dialogues have specifically used a term that is from chips to ships. Chips here is semiconductor, focus upon the production of semiconductor, which is probably like the gold in modern age. Everybody requires, and there is a shortage of this semiconductor. We are doing a lot of things. If I'm going to discuss all of these things from the preceding weeks and preceding month, it is going to be a very long lecture. For example, you must have heard about that Tata has like the area of Dholera in Gujarat has been notified as a CES for Tata semiconductor plant. It is starting a fab, that is a fabrication factory in that particular area. So a lot of things are going in background. Most of the countries, specifically India, is focusing upon being a producer, manufacturer of the semiconductor chips. So from chips to ships, we are going to focus upon these two core areas. Chaliye. So we'll be working together on AI and making these semiconductor chips, which include that this critical technology is steadily handy and being supplied to both the countries here. There is no shortage. Ships we have already discussed. We are going to utilize a framework which is called as voyages. This can be a direct question, with reference to South Korea and India recent meet or recent agreements. What is the voyage framework about? So you'll be given the option. So this voyage framework is basically about the shipbuilding. We are going to collaborate the shipbuilding expertise of South Korea, and we are going to combine the India's vast amount of land, labor, and supply chain. All right. Now, defense may I have mentioned you that MOU has been signed so that the MSMEs are going to the small companies, small industries in India. They will get an opportunity to work alongside the manufacturing giants. They will get opportunity to work like the tech giants of South Korea. South Korea has a lot of bigger companies. For example, POSCO, as far as the mining is concerned. Apart from that, if you see the technology, so Samsung is also there. A South Korean brand. So there are a lot of brands. LG, Samsung, all these bigger brands. Most of the, I think, household, from television to air conditioner to fridge to a lot of things that you have in your house, either it is of Samsung, either it is of LG. Until unless you are not buying those cheap Chinese product. Chaliye. So apart from that, as I have mentioned, that there is they have also launched something called as Kindex, which is a new accelerator program which is going to help the startups from both the countries to work together and manufacture the defense equipment. And till now what was happening, we used to rely mostly upon the other countries. All right, Russia, France, US, we are relying upon these countries. Now the focus is to make things ourselves. So we have to collaborate for that with South Korea. Next news is regarding Eveready's commissioning the first alkaline battery unit in Jammu. So there is a place in Jammu which is called as Samba. The exact name of the place should be, you should be aware of. This can be asked that Eveready has recently started an alkaline battery plant in which particular place. It is not going to mention Jammu, which is because it is going to be very easy. It is going to give the options of certain names of cities, places or districts in and around Jammu Kashmir. So you should be precisely focusing upon the exact name of the place, the town and the district, not the state or the UTs. Correct? Chaliye. So what this is about, see, we have different type of batteries which are being used in our daily life. All right. The simple most batteries that probably your elder brothers or parents must have seen 20 years, 30 years ago, when those metallic steel, aluminum type of torches were being sold by brands like Eveready, etc. And those were called as the zinc carbon batteries. Those were called as the zinc carbon batteries. They used to be very cheap, 5 rupees, 10 rupees. Pencil batteries, AA batteries, AAA batteries, used in either torches, used in batteries of the remote, all right, of television, etc., and watches for that matter. All right, but their efficiency is quite low. They cannot store a lot amount of power, and they cannot store it for a long time of period also. Firstly, the energy cannot be stored more, and secondly, for the time period is also very short. So their shelf life is also very short. So the upgraded version of those of the batteries, which are used for the similar purpose in remote, in clocks, etc., they are called as the alkaline batteries. Okay? Currently in India, 75 to 85% of the market is with the zinc carbon battery, but we are slowly transitioning upon utilizing the alkaline batteries. Why alkaline battery is slowly growing? Because more than 10 to 15 years, companies like Duracell, etc., they have came up with the alkaline battery. But still, why it is slowly going? Because people think like they have that petty logic that if the battery is of 5 to 10 rupees, I can buy multiple batteries. Rather than buying an expensive battery of 25, 30 rupees a single piece, I can buy 5 batteries. So they focus upon quantity more than upon the quality. That a single battery is going to run the same period, and you can buy like one after the other. So this is a mindset. But as the dispensable income is increasing, we have a greater earning, awareness is increasing, internet, social media, and also the devices that we were technically using earlier, it was merely remote and it was merely clock, which does not consume a lot of energy. But now the devices that we are using, IoT devices, etc., this considerably utilizes a large amount of energy. So for that, this efficient alkaline battery is more suitable. So this is going to be the first such plant, not only in India, but in any of the SAARC countries. So I hope you do understand what are SAARC countries. It can be a static question for the examination. There are a total of 8 members as far as the SAARC are concerned. Most of them are the neighbor countries like Bangladesh, like Bhutan, India, Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Afghanistan. The full form of SAARC is South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. It was established 10 years after the you can say the emergency which was applied by Mrs. Gandhi, and the headquarter is in capital city of Nepal, that is Kathmandu. So this particular plant in Samba, it is going to be completely sustainable. They have utilized 1 megawatt of rooftop, which is going to supply 1.2 million units per year. They are also having arrangement for rainwater harvesting of around 275 kiloliters daily. Why? Because most of these operations, wherever you have certain factory work, industry work, a lot of water is basically being utilized. And if you are utilizing something, for example, Coca-Cola recently has signed an MOU with the government of Uttar Pradesh for community development as the broader part of CSIR, that is corporate social responsibility. So they are also working on groundwater recharging to elevate the groundwater level. Why? Because their operation, the manufacturing, the packaging, the bottling, the cleaning of the bottling, it requires a large amount of water. So if you are using and wasting a lot of water, you have to take certain corrective initiative for sustainable development. So they have rainwater harvesting facility also, and then they have a zero discharge facility. That is like no waste is going to be generated or thrown out or dispersed outside the premises of the building. The installed capacity is of roughly 456 million batteries, but the peak annual production that they can attain is roughly around 360 million units. The 360 million units of alkaline batteries can be produced every single year. They are utilizing the plant to get more of it by also producing 6 million LED bulbs. Now Eveready is also in the LED bulb segment, just like Syska used to be there. Na? Syska is now not, I think it is a defunct company, it does not work, but it was a leader, initial leader as far as the LED bulbs is considered. It was having a good market presence. Now it is not there, the Syska bulb. Wipro, apart from that, Philips, Havells, Hellonix, these are the brands that you see. Apart from that, this Eveready has also started its LED bulb from quite many years now, I think 4 to 5 years now. So they are going to produce 6 million LED bulbs in this factory. Also, 67 million flashlights will be produced at this particular plant. The total budget which has been kept aside for this is around 200 crore. Government of India, it is promoting manufacturing, indigenous manufacturing. So it is also going to get benefits from the PLI scheme, where the government give incentive to people who are into local manufacturing. Acha, there is one more thing. It is also going to reduce our dependence upon the imports. Till now, as we have mentioned, that only a small market share was there of alkaline battery, and that too was majorly coming from outside. So we used to import, so our dependency has to be reduced. So it is also related to the Atmanirbhar, self-reliant India. Apart from this, if you see Eveready's presence, Eveready has already a dominant presence as far as the zinc carbon battery is concerned. It is having a 52% market share. Now it is ambitious that it is going to double its alkaline battery production from 8% to 6%, which is written here, in a time period of what? Around 3 years. Now this zinc carbon battery, instead of that, when alkaline battery is going to be used, what is going to change? In the alkaline batteries, the KOH, that stands for potassium hydroxide. This is used as electrolyte, which provides a more greater efficiency and a longer shelf life. So this was the news. I hope it's clear. No doubts from here. Moving ahead to the next news we have. This is like PayPoint India becomes the first fintech to join RBI's centralized payment system. I hope you do understand what is a fintech. The financial technology related companies, just like Policy Bazaar and a lot of other companies in that segment. So usually what used to happen, if you want to utilize RBI's elite club, what is this elite club called as? You can think of it as an elite club. It is a basically centralized payment system where you can directly receive the payments, directly do the transaction via RBI. You do not have to depend upon any source bank or any sponsor bank. All right. So RBI used to allow only the banks with a license, valid license, to utilize its CPS system. You can think of it like there is a club, entry to only the elite members is allowed, only those who are having a banking license. Now after 2021, RBI has cleared that it is going to be in phase-wise manner. Slowly it is going to, with a lot of restrictions and scrutiny, it is going to allow non-banking institutions like the fintech companies, etc., also to utilize a central payment system. So they will be able to do transactions like NEFT and RTGS, all right, which is basically regulated and controlled by Reserve Bank of India, unlike the IMPS, which is controlled by which body? Your NPCI, National Payment Corporation of India. All right, RTGS, NEFTs are controlled and regulated by Reserve Bank of India. So now you can directly transact through this RBI's centralized payment system. Earlier, you used to make it through some other bank. So there were delays also. There can be payment failure also. And you also have to give a small margin fee to the bank, which is your sponsor. If you are using somebody else to get your work done, you are going to pay a small margin of the transaction fee that is being transacted through their portal. Now they do not need this. Intermediary is going to be totally vanish from the scene. Apart from that, this is going to also, this PayPoint, the fintech company, is also going to get its own IFSC code. Okay? The 11-digit unique IFSC code for direct settlement with the RBI. But there is a catch or a limitation. Getting part of this CPS does not mean that you have the license to onboard customers, open saving banks account, or start taking deposit. That is still a bank can only do. So you cannot practically, you are not getting a banking license. You cannot accept deposit, or you cannot issue banking loans, or you cannot practically open saving banks account or current account for the customer. So you have to know and differentiate this. Now, two terms were used in this particular news, the RTGS and the NEFT. I have added IMPS also side by side and compared it so that banking awareness portion, static GK also can be included in this particular topic and you get a better insight. All right. So the full form of every single payment system has been mentioned here. NEFT stands for the National Electronic Fund Transfer. RTGS is real-time gross settlement. IMPS is immediate payment service. These two are controlled, regulated by Reserve Bank of India. This is by the NPCI, must be mentioned. Yes, it is mentioned here. All of these are 24/7, 365. You can do the transaction anytime. Lower upper limit significantly varies. For example, for NEFT and for IMPS, the lower limit is non-existent. It is written 1 rupee, but it is written 1 rupee only because what you are going to send below 1 rupees. You are not going to send 0 rupees or minus rupees. Hai na? So 1 is the lowest possible value that you are going to send. So there is no lower limit as far as the NEFT and IMPS is concerned. But for RTGS, which is for emergent large amount transaction, there is a lower limit of 2 lakh rupees. If it is lower than that, try to do use other platforms. Hai na? Try to do the NEFT. Okay? Now upper limit. This RTGS does not has any practical upper limit. You can practically send 50 lakh rupees also. This NEFT, it is having no limit in general, but the banks may set their own limit. It is up to their discretion. For IMPS, there is a per transaction value, upper limit transaction per transaction is 5 lakh rupees. Okay? So you should be aware about these facts as well. चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. This is regarding Ministry of Cultures. This is part of Government of India has launched a competition. This competition is called as VM Frames. What is this? What is this about? Currently, we are celebrating 150th anniversary of Vande Mataram, that is the national song of India. All right. So, government, specifically the Ministry of Culture, has started a competition where you can make AI shorts and reels, where you can make legit professional short documentaries, where you can also make the other things, specifically these 3 categories thing, and a total pool of 50 lakh rupees is going to be reserved for this. The winners are going to be awarded from this 50 lakh rupees. Not everybody is going to get 50 lakhs. The amount is going to be divided into various categories. The lowest amount has been kept for the reel category. Up to 1.5 lakh you will get for this reel. For AI films that you are making, you can get up to 5 lakh rupees. All the winners who are nominated, who are like considered as winner, whether it is 1 person, whether it is 10%, they are going to get, for them 5 lakh rupees has been kept aside. Next, short films के लिए यहाँ पर up to 15 lakh rupees है ना, because this is a more professional work, a more detailed work, short film, so it has having a more limit. अच्छा, certain static general knowledge pertaining to Vande Mataram. Who has written Vande Mataram? Who has authored this Vande Mataram? It was authored by Banking Chand Chattopadhyay or Chatterjee. ठीक है ना? Now, where did he do that? A place in West Bengal. It is called as Chansura, where it first came into you can say public light, the publication part of it. So people usually are aware about Anand Math, where it appeared in the year 1882. But alongside Anand Math, there was a journal which was named as Banga Darshan. In that journal also it came side by side. So Anand Math was a novel, but there was a literary journal also in which it was published. Now it was first sang in a political assembly, and this political assembly was Indian National Congress 1896 session, where Rabindranath Tagore Sahab or Rabindranath Tagore Sahab, who was also from West Bengal, he sang it. Okay? Now, how and when it got the national status of being a national song, just like we have Jan Gan Man as national anthem, when it got this status was given by the Constituent Assembly in January 1950. Okay, na? Chaliye. The translation happened for the very first time into other language by Shri Aurobindo Ghosh. Shri Aurobindo Ghosh in Karma Yogini or Karma Yogin. That is in 1909. No doubts from this portion, I believe. Everything is clear. Moving ahead, the next topic for discussion is regarding RBI easing the forex rule for banks and allowing the related party hedging under USD 100 million exposure cap. So this was a circular of RBI from the month of April. In order to understand that, you should be first aware about what is hedging. Hedging simply means, for example, let's suppose, I have given this example in other classes also, so I'll repeat that only. If there are 2 cousins of yours or some relative or some friend, and they are supposed to get married in the November or December this year, by the end of this particular year. Okay, now currently they are in some foreign country, and they are supposed to get married by the end of the year. Now the family wants to make jewelries for them for the marriage, but they cannot do so. Why? Because the couple who are going to get married, they are not here. They are not here. So the fitting of the rings and other jewelry has to be in according to them only, and the design has to be also selected by their choice, by their wish. And they are getting married. It cannot be that like you are choosing it for yourself. All right. So till the time they do not come, you cannot practically buy the jewelries. All right. But you are skeptical that by the time they will come close to the marriage, that is by October, November, the prices of gold can significantly rise in these 6 months, 6+ months. So what you are going to do? You can do something what is called as hedging to balance the risk here. That the prices of physical gold is going to increase, so you can do a hedging. You do not want to presently buy the jewelry because you have to see their choice, their fitting, etc. So you can put that money into either gold bar, gold coin, or you can say that gold ETF, gold bond, any other thing, digital gold. These things does not have any making charges also, so no money is going to be wasted. All right. So if the price of the physical gold increases in the later 6 months, the prices of these things are also increasing. All right. And when they do come, you can sell it off, or you can give it to the jeweler, and in exchange of that, you can have the jewelries with you. So this is like hedging, balancing out the risk. So in business, this hedging is a very important tool, because you are like, let's suppose you are sending a particular shipment from India to United States or some European country. Now it is going to take 6 days, 8 days, or 12 days to reach there. Okay, finally reach there. By the time, if there is a sudden drop in the value of the currency, for example, when you send that, rupee was around 85 compared to dollar, and when it was received by the other party in the other country, the rupee was around 95. All right. So this price difference can create major loss or profit depending upon which side of the boat you are. All right. So there is always this hedging option with RBI that you are trying to balance out the risk. But a lot of people can utilize this for speculative gambling also to get benefited. And not only people, in fact, the banks can become greedy. So when they see that Trump is doing all these things in the Middle East, the prices of the crude oil is increasing, and they are aware that dollar is going to get more stronger, other currencies are going to get weaker, specifically rupee is going to get weaker. So let us buy more and more gold. So as they buy more and more gold worth millions and billions of dollars, this will accelerate the fall of rupee. Rupee is anyways falling due to the Middle East chaos and pressure. But when you start buying more and more gold, accumulating more and more gold, that today the value of gold is 80, 85 or 90 rupees. In next 6 months, if the things continue, rupee may go beyond 100 rupees. So you are going to get benefited. And so people are buying more, and banks can start accumulating or hoarding gold. Now this will further accelerate the depreciation of the rupee. And RBI does not want that. We are already in a bad condition and you are further accelerating. If you are not the cause, you are the accelerator to make this fall even worse. So earlier, there was practically no such limit which was kept that how much this derivatives can be picked up. Or in technical term, you called it as NOP, net open position, by the end of the day. So banks can often have their own limit, which can be equivalent to $1 billion. But this is not good for the financial health of the country. If you are into speculation, if it is using for the genuine purpose, for business transaction, for hedging against the risk, then it is accepted. But if you are doing it for speculative gambling to get profited, it is a bad thing. And in order to curb that, the banks came up with this, RBI came up with the circular, which has put this net open position cap or exposure size to $100 million. 100 million. You cannot have more open position beyond this amount. That is, you cannot bet against rupee for more than this particular amount. You can simply think of like that. So this was in news. You should be aware about the amount, and apart from amount, there is no other thing that is relevant here in this particular news. Okay? There are certain key terms which I have already mentioned here. You can read them out after the lecture. You can download the PDF from the application, if you are already registered. Moving ahead, the RBI has revoked banking license of Paytm Payments Bank over non-compliance. So from 2022, there were multiple warnings given by Reserve Bank of India to Paytm Payments Bank for discrepancy in the operation and a lot of other type of, you can say, non-compliance that was being seen and reported, but it was probably not doing anything to correct that. You need to keep this in mind. It is not affecting Paytm app. Paytm app is going to work as smoothly as regularly it was. All right, the application where you are doing the UPI transaction, where you are booking movies, probably you are booking bus, train, flights, etc. All right, that is going to function pretty well. There's no change. But the Paytm Payments Bank, which emerged after the demonetization, Paytm started issuing the debit cards, it started opening the accounts, it started taking the FDs, savings, etc. Okay, so that is now going to cease. So what are the various sections that has been used by RBI? It is going to be important for you pertaining to this particular news. So in general, the RBI has utilized section 22(4), section 22 subsection 4 of the Banking Regulation Act of 1949 to cancel their license. But while mentioning the reason that why we are cancelling, you cannot just cancel it like that. You have to mention the reasons. So while mentioning the reason, it has also described a lot of sections. For example, they have mentioned one of the reason as management's character and conduct. Now RBI does not trust the character and conduct of the management. They have a feeling that the operation of Paytm Payment Bank is in such a way that they are prioritizing the interest of the parent company, the Chinese parent company, rather than the consumers whose account is being opened in the bank. So you cannot do that. This is against the character and morality. So the section, relevant section for this is section 22 subsection 3 and clause C. All right. And it is basically, if you have to describe it, it is called as the bank are operating in a way that is prejudicial to the public interest. It is in interest of the parent company and against the interest of the normal public who are trusting Paytm Bank for depositing their money. Second, they have talked about the persistent non-compliance. This is section 35A. There are two sections 35, one is section 35A, then section 35. Section 35A is about the persistent non-compliance, long-term non-compliance. I am regularly warning you, but you are not listening to me. It is regarding that, section 35A. Section 35 is like supervisory concern, which we will talk about. So here, RBI has multiple times pointed out red flags, okay, since 2022, specifically as far as the IT and the security system of the bank was concerned. But despite those warnings, it failed to resolve all the deficiencies that has been highlighted by Reserve Bank of India. So this is non-compliance, that we are saying that this is wrong, you need to correct it, but they are not correcting it. Next is detrimental to depositor. Here section 22 subsection 3 clause B has been utilized. And it says that there is a lack of oversight which puts the money of the public in danger. What does it mean? That there is a failure to monitor the transaction inflows. What are the transactions that are coming into your, for example, it was observed, we will be talking about this in the next section also, it was observed that the same ID proof was being submitted to open multiple accounts for different people. Now this indicates that there is some certain sort of money laundering or something related to it is going on. And if it is true, if the RBI is not going to find it out, RBI is not going to investigate it, RBI is not the investigating body here. If the investigating bodies, they do find out that there was actually certain gray area or something bad, something fishy was going on, then they are going to freeze the account, all the accounts. So whose money is going to be at risk? Public money is going to be risk. Paytm ka kuch bhi nahi ja raha hai. Public's money is going to be in danger. They cannot withdraw. If they need emergency situation, they cannot withdraw the money because the account is frozen till the time investigation results come out. Next is lack of we have left this material supervisory concern, that is section 35. They have seen that the same identity or the same PAN card was used to open multiple accounts, okay, which is also not a good thing to do. Next is lack of arm's length distance. Under section 12AA of the RBI guidelines, you are supposed to maintain an arm length distance. For example, in your childhood in your school, you are doing the PT exercises. So it was being said that 1 arm distance you have to keep. So there's a guideline of RBI that you have to keep an arm distance from the other parties involved or the parent company that is involved. Your operation has to be totally focused upon banking aspect. Okay? If there are other related bodies, you have to stay away. But it was seen that sensitive banking data was sent to the parent body was being shared with the parent body, and that is not a good thing because this is putting the data privacy of the customers at risk. ठीक है ना? Next is there is no public interest that is being served. RBI has mentioned using section 22 subsection 4 that we do not find there is any practical use of keeping the Paytm operational because it does not serve any unique purpose. That means that if it fails or if it is closed, it is not going to affect anyone in the Indian financial ecosystem. Next news is regarding National Panchayati Raj Day, which is celebrated annually on 24th of April. Easy to remember because it is also the birthday of India's cricketing legend Sachin Ramesh Tendulkar. So both of the days are on the same day, 24th of April. Okay? You have to keep this thing in mind that it was not always when we used to celebrate this Panchayati Raj Day. We started doing this since 2010 only. Started doing it since 2010. Panchayati Raj Day on 24th of April. What it is about? It commemorates the anniversary of beginning of enactment of the Panchayati Raj system. What Panchayati Raj system is there? General polity question, I think you must have read in school also. Panchayati Raj system tried to take the democracy at the grassroots level so that decisions which are made for people, for their welfare, for their development, building roads, wells, etc., people can also have their voices in those programs. It is not going to be only one directional. Simple analogy is that if you are going to somebody's birthday, you are going to think in a way that what the person wants, not what you would like him to have. ठीक है ना? आपको क्या अच्छा लगता है वो मैटर नहीं करता. What do you like does not matter. It is not about you. It is about the person you are gifting it to. So you have to think like what will be good for. So Panchayati Raj also takes the democracy to the grassroots level. It tries to decentralize the entire governance. It tries to involve people's participation in the local self-governance and self-decision taking abilities. All right. So this was envisioned by great leaders like Mahatma Gandhi and Nehru Sahab. All right. But during that time, this was not legally enacted. There were certain places, for example, there is a district in Rajasthan called as Nagaur, where it was there in 1959. But as a constitutional legislation, it was only incorporated by the 73rd Amendment Act of the Constitution in the year 1992. And it became operational from April 24, 1993. So this was the 33rd anniversary that we have observed this day, this year on 2026. Okay? Some of the important committees that were very fundamental in the establishment of Panchayati Raj were Balwant Raj or Balwant Rai Mehta Committee of 1957 and also the L.M. Singhvi Committee of 1986. The entire structure of the Panchayati Raj is divided into 3 layers you can think of. The village level, the block level and the district level. At village level, which is the basic most level, you have the Gram Panchayat. At the block level, you have Panchayat Samiti. And at the district level, you have Jila Parishad. Okay? I hope this is clear. No doubts here. If any doubts, keep asking them. Moving ahead. All the provisions that were mentioned, I have summarized them here in this particular chart. There is one thing which we have not mentioned. This is regarding the reservation. In our constitution, in Panchayati Raj system, we have kept a 33% or 1/3 reservation for the women. 1/3 of the total यहाँ पर जो भी members हैं, वो they will be from the women category. ठीक है? अच्छा, apart from that, there is a separate reservation for members of scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. All right. So we have a Article 243D in the Constitution, which talks about reservation of SC/ST in the Panchayat, just like we have in the Lok Sabha and the Vidhan Sabha also, in the Parliament and in also the Legislative Assembly. For that we have Article 330 to 332, 330 and 332. The reservation of SC/ST in the Lok Sabha and in the Vidhan Sabha. Likewise, we also have reservation in the Panchayats as well. And for that, the article is 243D. If you can retain, it is a good thing. The term is normally regularized. It is 5-year tenure. Next is regarding Coca-Cola, one of the world's largest brand as far as the fast-moving consumer beverages brand are concerned. And currently, Coca-Cola has signed a 3 years MOU with the Uttar Pradesh government for working on the community development. Why? Because some of the largest plant of Coca-Cola, the bottling packaging plant of Coca-Cola is in the state. Now, whenever you are doing this type of operation, plastic is involved, lot of water is being utilized. This is not environmentally sustainable. So if you are doing all these things for commercial reasons, you have to also do things that is going to balance this out. For example, if you are consuming a lot of water in your operations, so you have to do certain things or take steps to increase the groundwater level. So here, by doing this, you also get a lot of incentives or tax reductions and other benefits. It can be many benefits from the state government. And in order to do so, the Coca-Cola is coming here with a 3-year agreement, and it is going to do a lot of things in the state of Uttar Pradesh. Firstly, it is going to focus upon water stewardship, that is replenishing the groundwater level. Secondly, it is also trying to improve the irrigation in the state, specifically where its operations are taking place. Thirdly, it will be focusing upon the livelihood, income, etc., jobs of people. For example, empowering the rural women and the rural youth population. And it is also going to significantly do expenditure on the health and education. Where does this money come from? Why they are doing this? Are they being forced by the state government or the chief minister? Answer is no. We have a legal provision under the Companies Act of 2013. We have a section called as Section 135, and it mandates all the companies with a significant profit, a profit of more than 5 crore, to spend 2% of their net 3 years profit for activities pertaining to welfare of society, community, and animals, a lot of other things. This is called as CSR, or corporate social responsibility. That means, for example, in the first year of your operation, you earned 7 crore rupees. All right. In the second year of your operation, you earned 6 crore rupees. In the third year, your expenses become very large and your profit slightly drew away. Okay? So you earned only, let's suppose, 3 crore rupees. 3 crore rupees. So if you take the average, you add these values, which will be around 16, and then you divide it by 3. Okay? So the value, or for example, यहाँ पर 2 crore हम ले लेते हैं. ये total amount हो गया क्या? 15 crore. And what is the average? 5 crore rupees. So 5 crore is your net profit. Out of the 5 crore, you have to invest 2 crore rupees for promoting corporate social responsibility or promoting a lot of things. You can work on veterinaries also. Dogs which are not vaccinated, injured, you can invest your money on that also. You can work on livelihood for people also, jobs, etc., infrastructure, road, sanitation, well-being, health, a lot of things, whatever you are willing to do. So the 2% of your money is going to be invested or utilized on that cause. So this was made possible by the legislation, which I think we have mentioned it here also, that this CSR was mandated on April 1, 2014, and India became the first country to mandate it. In a lot of other countries, it is based upon your own choice. If you are earning a lot of money, if you want to spend some certain part of it, so you can. Here we have this mandated. This is a legal binding, you cannot run away. And this is part of the Companies Act, Section 135. This rule I have already explained you. Eligibility also I have mentioned. Either you should have a 5 crore plus profit, or combination of these two, that your net worth is more than 500 crore, your company's net worth is more than 5 crore, and your turnover is more than 1000 crore. Or you can simply have a profit of 5 crore, then also you will be eligible. The regulating body or the ministry for this is Ministry of Corporate Affairs under Government of India. I hope it's clear to you. Moving ahead. Those of you who are preparing for banking examination and they want a one-stop solution for all your requirements, from the test, practice session, notes, everything that is needed for your preparation, so that you do not have to waste time going here and there, following different things for different topics and different sections. So you can take the participation in the banking super elite, for which you can directly get in touch with the counselors. Okay? आगे बढ़ते हैं. Next news is regarding a report that has been generated by a UK-based company called as Knight Frank. Knight Frank has highlighted that the income in a lot of countries has significantly risen. Okay? Talking from Indian perspective, India is ranked at number 6 as far as the number of ultra high net worth individuals are concerned. Who is counted as ultra high net worth individual? Who is part of this category? Anybody with an net worth of or net assets of 283 crores or plus. Okay? And billionaires also, as far as the billionaires are concerned, we are ranked third globally. दुनिया में थर्ड सबसे ज़्यादा बिलियनियर इंडिया में है, फर्स्ट में आपके यूएस और चाइना में है. अल्ट्रा हाई नेट वर्थ इंडिविजुअल्स वी रैंक हेयर एट द 6th पोजीशन. तो दे आर 2 रैंक्स, डू नॉट गेट कंफ्यूज फॉर दीज 2. ठीक है ना. अच्छा, वन मोर थिंग, व्हेन नाइट फ्रैंक इज कैलकुलेटिंग योर नेट एसेट, it is not counting your personal belonging. For example, your watches, etc. So we are wearing watches, very like cheap watches, 5,000, 10,000, at max 20, 30,000 rupees. इससे ज़्यादा कि मैं घड़ियाँ क्या पहनेंगे हम लोग, है ना. But the richer individual, for them, well, like this is an investment. A lot of limited collection watches, antique watches, like big amount watches. Their money is appreciating. So if you have bought it for, let's suppose, 5 rupees, you can sell it for 6.5 to 7 rupees few years later. So it is also investment for richer people. So you must have seen, for example, stars, the biggest superstars in India, like Shah Rukh Khan, Salman Khan, they wear watches of 20 crore, 30 crore, like they are carrying a piece of paper. It is a very normal thing. And in daily life, you know, Akash or Anant, the brother, the Ambani brother who was recently married, he was shown wearing a watch of more than 90 to 130 crore rupees. So they wear expensive watches. So this particular body is not calculating your watches, which is also significant. Achha, it is not also calculating your residential home. So people like, for example, Mukesh Ambani is living in Antalya and it is a very expensive house. Shah Rukh Khan is living in a house which is going to be like soon amounting to around 1,000 crore. The Mannat, the house in which Shah Rukh Khan is living. So that is not calculated. Right? So it is not taking into account everything. And despite that, there are so many rich people in the world which has been highlighted. In India specifically, this category has grown by 63 to 64%, whereas the billionaires have also grown by around 58%. Okay? Chaliye. The topmost country is USA, and it is a very significant feat to have. Why a significant feat? Because the population of USA is 4 times, 5 times lesser than India. And China also. We are the world's biggest population, so it is but natural that we will have bigger market to sell the product, and the chances or likelihood or probability of having more number of richer people is also great because population is larger. But despite that fact, America is having 2.5 lakh individuals. Having 4 to 5 times lesser population than India, it is having more than 12, 13 times the ultra high net worth individual. In fact, it is having twice the amount of ultra high net individuals compared to China, which is having around 1,21,000. In India, it is less than 20,000. Only 20,000 people are categorized into ultra high net worth category. Talking about billionaires, there are only 207 billionaires according to this particular list in India. And out of this 207, 55% plus billionaires are only in the cities of Mumbai and Delhi. Okay? So this also you need to keep in mind. 35% plus are in Mumbai, whereas 22.8, around 23% are in Delhi. So around 57. Out of this 207, around 110-15 billionaires are only in these 2 cities, followed by the other cities. Now about Knight Frank, it is, as I mentioned, it is a UK-based company. It is a consultancy which is headquartered in London. As I have mentioned, it is excluding your personal assets like the primary residences, your collections, these things, vintage things. If you are, for example, currently Serum of Institute of India के जो member है related to Mr. Poonawalla, he has bought a painting of Radha Krishna which is somewhere around 150 crore. I am not exactly able to recollect the exact amount. It must be somewhere around 130, 140. So it is nearly 150 crore rupees painting. So a lot of rich people do invest in these things also. Antiques, vintage things. So these all things are not counted here. Moving ahead, the next news is regarding India and New Zealand has recently signed an FTA. What is FTA? FTA basically means free trade agreement. All right. So for example, when Indian goods are going to land in New Zealand, we are not supposed to pay. The Indian merchants are not supposed to, or the other side also, the people who are buying them. For example, we are sending, let's say, a collection of watches to New Zealand, and somebody is supposed to receive it. Whether it is a reseller, whether it is an individual, So in order to clear that thing, they have to pay the custom duty. But now when the free trade agreements are being signed, it is going to be duty free. All right, all the consignments that is going from here, one seller to other seller, it is going to be duty free. And we are going to get benefited a lot of sectors. For example, footwear sector, pharma, gems including jewelry, textile, they are going to greatly benefited. Now what we are giving to New Zealand for this particular thing, we have also allowed significant reduction in the tariff. When the New Zealand components, New Zealand products are going to come to India, we are going to provide them for 95% of New Zealand's goods, including wood, wool, coal, sheep meat. We have eliminated the tariffs or the duties. We have made it duty free, either immediately or in a phased out manner. In a phased out manner, in phases, we are going to do it. On their wines also, we have significantly reduced the entire tariff that was earlier applicable. Plus, we have also given them preferential access. For example, now when we are taking apples or kiwi from any other country, we are going to choose New Zealand first, then others. So New Zealand has also become the first country which is going to get preferential treatment from India as far as these two components are concerned. ठीक है, चलिए, और जो भी उनके कीवी फ्रूट वगैरह आएंगे उस पे भी we have reduced the tariff by 50%. Now, India has strictly kept its dairy sector closed because it is seriously going to hamper our farmers if the milk or dairy related product from America, Australia, New Zealand, it is going to come in India. It will be more cheaper and the quality will be at least 100% better. 100 so 1,000 times better, not 100% better. Because in India, getting a pure dairy product in 2026, it is a dream. If any type of milk is coming, it is packaged milk, or anybody, if you are he's taking it to your home, you take it to a laboratory and you test it. 95% of the chances that it is going to be adulterated. It is going to be mixed with certain content, है ना, कुछ ना कुछ उसमें गड़बड़ होगी, या तो पानी मिला होगा या तो कुछ मिले होंगे. Currently, one of the biggest brand was tested in laboratory and it was found that आपके जो E. coli bacteria है वो उस milk के अंदर में थे. In the packaged milk, which is supposed to be pasteurized, and the biggest brand in the country as far as the milk is concerned. So you do not get pure milk in the country as far as India is concerned. This is due to the inherent corruption which we are also part of. ठीक है ना? So this is going to be a big trouble because who is going to ask for Indian product when the foreign products are going to come at a cheaper price? That is why we keep a lot of tariff on the foreign goods, because if we reduce the tariff, probably entire Indian industries are going to collapse within a time period of 1 year. Nobody is going to buy. Indians are not going to buy the Indian product anymore. So we have closed this dairy sector because it is going to seriously affect our farmers, and we have to protect our farmers. ठीक है? No matter what they are selling to us. चलिए, moving ahead. Is there any other relevant information? अच्छा, education access is also given. New Zealand is also going to provide access to the skilled Indians. 5,000 visas are going to be provided to the skilled Indians, and they are also going to extend the study visas of students who are into STEM courses or doing PhD in New Zealand. For STEM courses, it is going to be increased by 3 years. For PhD courses, this is going to be increased by 4 years. ठीक है? And the value of this particular investment that New Zealand has committed here, it is around $20 billion over next 15 years. चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. Certain general knowledge about New Zealand. The capital is Wellington and the currency is New Zealandian dollar. Prime Minister is not relevant. These things you can ignore. Moving to the next news, this is regarding Brazil has displaced India in Bangladesh corn export. Currently, India was the largest exporter of corn to Bangladesh. ठीक है? But recently, Brazil has overtaken India to become the largest exporter of corn or maize to Bangladesh. Reason क्या है इसका? What is the reason? India is utilizing good amount of maize and sugarcane for the production of blended ethanol petrol. So we have started the E20 petrol, na, blended petrol, this ethanol 20%, petrol 80%. We are selling it, and we have achieved the target 4 years earlier than it was supposed to be achieved. So for that, a lot of sugarcane and maize products are basically going into this work. And that is why we are not able to export a lot of maize or corn to Bangladesh, because it is going to be in the ethanol blending, utilized in the ethanol blending. So that is why we have come on the second spot, and Brazil has overtaken us in this particular thing. Only this much is the news. No more angles are involved here. Next is Turkey has become one of those countries which has banned social media for children below 15 years. Okay? A lot of countries, for example, last year Australia has also banned, and there is a plethora of countries, at least half a dozen major countries in the world, which is thinking in this direction. A lot of European countries also, they are thinking in direction that we are going to ban social media or regulate the access to social media as far as the minors are concerned, because a lot of studies have shown that the use of AI, use of social media, your continuous browsing of reels, all this has reduced the cognitive abilities. Just like during the days when the touchscreen mobile phone or the smartphones were not there, you were having simple keypad mobile phones. It was difficult to operate those phones. People used to remember the numbers or contact details of 20, 30, 40, 50 individuals. They used to remember there were some people, smart people, they used to remember the entire directory. It was a game that I'll remember the entire directory. If you see 25, 30 years from now, in the late 90s, early 90s time period. But when these digital mobile phone, etc., contact saving, these things, everything came up, so we became dependent. Now we hardly remember anybody's number. Apart from the close circle, family, friends, we do not remember any other number, more than 5, 6 number. So this was a transition. And now due to social media, AI, etc., our reliance on these things have started getting more, and our cognitive abilities are also decreasing. It is also making us apathetic. Social distance जो है वो बढ़ता जा रहा है, depression जो है वो बढ़ता जा रहा है ना. So in order, these reports have suggested, so most of the countries are focusing upon curbing the access to social media, and the companies, the social media platforms, they are now going to be responsible to verify that are you of a particular age for using social media or not. If the company or the social media platform is allowing minors, it is going to be penalized, and the penalization has been increased, okay, even for the gaming apps, because a lot of people are into gaming these days. So any company which is having more than 10 million users, it is supposed to have a mandatory age rating for their game, for their gaming platform, that which particular age group person can play which type of game or which game. All right, because a lot of violence scenes related games are basically being seen by smaller children, minor children, which play with their mind, which can play or hit their mind. Now I have made this complete list here, and all the countries which have recently banned it, social media, or countries which have partially banned it, or those who are planning it, everything is mentioned so that you can do a quick revision. Most important country recently apart from Turkey was Australia. They have kept a target age of under 16, है ना. टर्की क्या है, टर्की क्या कर रहा है, टर्की ने यहाँ पर 15 ईयर की एज रखा है, ठीक है. फ्रांस में there is a parental consent come ban for people under 15 years, and this is active. Norway has proposed it. It has not been, probably by the end of this year they will also get it approved. Currently it is not functional. Portugal के अंदर में this is active. There is a parental consent. You need to take the permission from the parents, है ना, digitally or manually, through which you can access the platform, otherwise not. In Denmark also it is proposed, not implemented. Malaysia में it is also targeted, not currently active. Greece में also it is proposed for next year 2027. Italy के अंदर में parental consent is required for under 14 people. ठीक है, चलिए. So with this, I think, I believe we came to the end of, towards the end of the session, there are two important appointments which we can add here. PFC, that is the Power Finance Corporation. What is the core business? It provides financial assistance for the power sector. Generation, transmission, distribution, whoever is into this particular thing, the Power Finance is going to provide them financing. Just like Bajaj Finance, etc., these NBFCs, they provide finance for varied type of purposes. Now this particular company, which is a Maharatna company, which is a PSU, public sector company hai, this provide financing only for things related to power generation, power transmission and distribution. So currently there is a new person who is going to head this, and Mr. Rajesh Kumar Agrawal has been appointed as the new lead for this. Establishment of PFC was in 1986. Next is Dabur India. You all are, I think, aware of Dabur India. Mr. Harjit S. Bhalla has been appointed as the new head. And it was also established around the same time, 1884, headquartered in Ghaziabad, Uttar Pradesh. Now let us quickly solve certain questions. We can have certain quiz. First question is, what is the bilateral trade goal set by? If you are willing, you can answer in the chat box. You can check it by the time I'm reading it. You can check it that if you are right or not. Okay? What is the bilateral trade goal set by India and South Korea to be achieved by the year 2030? So the correct answer for this is, we have discussed currently the value is around $25 million. They have the target to double it up, and it is going to be around $50 billion. So C is the correct answer. Next question is, which new framework was created for shipbuilding cooperation? I have discussed this. You have to focus about the name of the initiatives or the framework. Voyages is the framework. Next is, Eveready Industries recently commissioned India's first dedicated alkaline battery unit. Which location? Dekhiye, if you remember only Jammu, you are going to be tricked away because there are two options with Jammu. So the correct answer for this is going to be Samba. All right. Next question is, where is the headquarters of the Shark organization located? Is it in New Delhi or Colombo, Kathmandu? We have discussed that it is in capital of Nepal, that is Kathmandu. You should be aware about the which countries are 8 members. Question can be asked, which of this is not the member of Shark? Even the static questions that they are going to be asked in the examination, they are going to be from the things which are in current news, So if Shark is there in any news, for example, it was mentioned that Eveready is going to be the first country, as far as the first Shark country, first country among the Shark nations to have this particular separate alkaline battery plant. So Shark is the keyword. There can be a question directly asked on it. So try to know these other aspects as well, not only the headquarter. Moving ahead, we have, which fintech became the first non-bank to join RBI's centralized payment system? We have discussed it. The answer is PayPoint. Okay? CPS के अंदर में they will be able to get the IFSC code. You should be aware how many digits are there in IFSC code. You should be aware how many digits are there in the Aadhaar code. Okay? Which particular body control and regulate the NEFT, RTGS and IMPS. These information, static information, must be clear with you. Moving ahead, question 6 is regarding what is the minimum transaction limit for RTGS. We have discussed there is no higher limit, but a lower limit of 2 lakhs is there. What is the name of the filmmaking competition launched to mark 150 years of Vande Mataram? So it is VM Frames. This is the correct answer. C is the correct answer. Question number D is regarding who is the author of India's national song? Very easy. Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay. What is the strict daily net open position cap maintained by RBI for banks? We have discussed it is $100 million. It was the April end circular. Question 10 is the Foreign Exchange Management Act, FEMA, of 1999 replaced which previous legislation? So it has replaced the FERA. Acha, about Coca-Cola, there was certain static GK that you should be aware. Coca-Cola was there in India around 1950s, 60s. But when this FERA Act came into being during the time period of Janata Party, when Morarji Desai, when after emergency Indira Gandhi's government was going and Morarji Desai ji was becoming the Prime Minister, all right. So around the same time, Coca-Cola had to exit. Why? Because under the FERA regulations, there were certain strict compliance. And one of the most controversial compliance was that the brand has to disclose its formula. Now you cannot ask a KFC, McDonald's, Maggie, these companies which are known for their flavor, you cannot ask them their formula, because entire market, entire distinction, it is that unique recipe of the spices or the things that they utilize to get this, that is specific taste, to get that specific taste. So Coca-Cola was not ready for this. They exited from India. Later, when LPG reforms occurred in the early 90s, so they came back in the year 1993, and they immediately purchased certain Indian companies in cold drinks and beverages, like they purchased Thumbs Up. They purchased another brand which is Limca, and some of the other companies as well. So only PepsiCo, that is Pepsi and Coca-Cola, were the dominant fighters in that particular space. Moving ahead, under which section of the Banking Regulation Act 1949 did RBI invoke Paytm license? और दूसरा क्वेश्चन भी सेक्शन से रिलेटेड है. Which section specifically highlights management conduct prejudicial to the public interest? So it is going to be section 23, section 22(3)(c and section 22(4), which are the correct answers for these two questions. Next is, on which date National Panchayati Raj? We have discussed Sachin Tendulkar's birthday, 24th of April. In which district, Rajasthan, where the Panchayati Raj system was adopted initially for the first time? It was Nagaur in Rajasthan. Next is, according to Knight Frank report, what is India's global rank in ultra high wealth? So for ultra wealthy people, we are at 6th position. For billionaires, we are at the 3rd position. Okay, do distinguish. Which Indian city accounts for 35% of the country's ultra rich population? So Mumbai is the city which is having most number. In fact, both ultra rich and the billionaires. This question framing is not exactly correct. It should be billionaires here, not ultra, because the report, the number that is 35.4%, it is for billionaire, and billionaire is not directly equivalent to a ultra wealthy or ultra rich person. For ultra rich person, ultra rich category, or ultra high net worth individual, for this category your net asset should be 283 crore. But a person who is billionaire, he actually holds more than a billion. ठीक है ना? That is roughly 12 to 14,000 crore उसके पास होगा, तब आप उसको बिलियनियर कह रहे हो. वो 100-200 करोड़ से वहाँ पे कुछ नहीं होगा. Moving ahead, New Zealand committed to an investment of how much in India over next 15 years? So the value is $20 billion. Which core product category is 100% excluded? To safeguard the interest of the farmers, dairy sector has been excluded. ठीक है? Let's check the answer. Correct. Which country has overtaken India as the leading maize? Brazil has become the country. Why? Because we are spending a lot of focus on E20. So Brazil has overtaken us. Turkey recently passed a law banning children under what age from social media? So they have kept an age of 15 years. ठीक है ना? उन्होंने 15 साल की एज रखी है. कंफ्यूज मत होइएगा. जैसे ऑस्ट्रेलिया हैज kept a different age. European certain countries which have passed the legislation, they have kept a different age. So do not get confused. That is why I have added the table towards the end. So this was also the last question that we were supposed to discuss. And if you are not already the part of our Telegram space, join the Telegram space to get regular updates, quizzes, polls, etc. and material also. And now we'll meet in the next session with May 1st week current affairs, I think on 8th of May. If you like the session, do comment it. How do you find it? Helpful or not? And also do share with other people as well. Okay? Goodbye, take care. All the best for your preparation. Thank you.